Hello, it's Mila from Hacky Russian and I'm here to help you learn Russian language easy, fast and with lots of fun. In my previous videos I shared with you some great tips on how to pronounce Russian words with a hard and a soft signs. So if you haven't watched them yet, I really recommend you to watch them after watching this video. And in this lesson, I will share with you some general tips on how to improve your pronunciation in Russian and also show you the biggest mistake of Russian language learners. Вы готовы? Поехали! By the way, this video is a part of my new pronunciation course where I explain all possible and impossible patterns of Russian pronunciation, silent letters, difficult sounds, Russian consonants and vowels which are not pronounced the same way as they are written, Russian intonation, and the ways to predict stress in Russian words. You can try this course for free during 14 days on Skillshare. Find a link in the description. So, why is it actually important to speak with a good pronunciation in Russian? And I'm not speaking about an accent. Having an accent in Russian language is completely fine, because people will be able to understand you. But if you pronounce Russian words incorrectly, it may cause some problems in understanding between you and Russian people. I know that many foreigners believe that pronunciation is not really that important when it comes to speaking in Russian. And I partially agree, because Russian people will really try to understand you. They will be very patient and very welcoming, because they themselves, Russian people, believe that Russian language is really difficult. And that is why they are so happy when foreigners try to speak their language. Even if you speak with mistakes, even if you speak very slowly, it will be fine. They will try to understand you. But I believe that there are much more advantages of speaking with a proper pronunciation, and here they are. First, you will feel more confident speaking in Russian language, because you will be so proud of your pronunciation and you will be sure that Russian people will understand you. Second, you will not put yourself in some awkward situations if, for example, you mispronounce a Russian word and it will mean a completely different thing that you wanted to say, and it will create some kind of misunderstanding between you and Russian people. Third, Russian people will admire your pronunciation and will not secretly laugh at it. Because, yes, even though Russian people are so happy when foreigners speak their language, but it makes us smile when we hear some obvious mispronunciation and when we hear that it's not really pronounced the way it should be pronounced. It makes us smile. And finally, you will improve your overall comprehension of fast spoken speech, because if you have some wrong fixed patterns in your head, you will find it more difficult to understand Russian words when they are pronounced with correct natural pronunciation in conversations. And if you think that it's impossible for a foreigner to learn proper Russian pronunciation, I will prove you that it's more than possible, because Russian language has fixed pronunciation rules. Yes, it takes time to learn and practice these patterns, but you will see that it's better than to constantly wonder why some Russian patterns are not pronounced the same way as they are written. Okay, enough talking, let's go down to business. If you want to speak with a proper Russian pronunciation, you need to know about naughty Russian vowels. These are the vowels that are not pronounced the same way as they are written, if they are unstressed. That is why learning Russian words with the correct stress is also very important. So, if unstressed, some Russian vowels will be pronounced less strong or completely differently. The vowels that will be pronounced completely differently if unstressed are O, Ye, E, and Ya. Well, you probably already know about a vowel O. In all cases, and I mean it, in all cases, when a Russian vowel O is not stressed, it should be pronounced as A. Let's look at these words. Хорошо. Хорошо. We have a stress on the last syllable. Хорошо. Шо. That is why O is pronounced as it should be. O. But the first two O are pronounced as A. Хорошо. Хорошо. We don't say хорошо. No, it will sound really unnatural. Хорошо. We don't speak like this. We say хорошо. In a fast-spoken speech, it will sound like хорошо, хорошо, хорошо. Next word is молодец. 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 We don't say молодец. We say молодец. Молодец. We have a stress on the last syllable, and two O are not stressed. Молодец. Молодец. Next is the word молоко. 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 Ko. We have a stress on the last syllable. That is why the first two syllables with the letter O should be pronounced with the sound A. Молоко. 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 And the last one is холодно. 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 In this case, we have a stress on the first syllable. Ho. Ho. That is why O is pronounced as it should be. Холодно. But the second, so in the second and in the third syllables, we also have this letter O, but it's pronounced as a sound A. Холодно. Холодно. We don't say холодно. No, it will sound really unnatural. Холодно. 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 However, you also need to know that there is a special dialect in the north of Russia where they speak and they pronounce this letter O everywhere where it's written. So no matter whether it's stressed or unstressed, they will pronounce it as O. So for example, they will say холодно and they will say молоко. Молоко. Молодец. But it's not a literary norm. You will not hear it in the central part of Russia, on the TV, and in many post-Soviet countries. They will not be speaking with this letter O. They will not be pronouncing it very clearly. It's also important to know that if you have a preposition with a letter O, for example, po or ob, you will need to read it with the sound A, because Russian prepositions are not stressed, but they are read together with a word that comes after. For example, in до свидания. До свидания. We don't say до свидания. До свидания. It will sound really unnatural. We have this preposition до that should be pronounced as да, because it's not stressed. До свидания. До свидания. Okay, let's continue. You have probably already noted that a vowel ye, when unstressed, is pronounced as e. E. But sometimes it is also pronounced as yi. 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 But there are also some situations when a letter ye should better be pronounced as ye or as e with a softened consonant. Let's look at these words. Лес and лиса. Лес, лиса. Лес, лиса. Can you notice the difference? So in the first word, лес, 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 we pronounce this ye as e with a softened l. Лес, лес, лес. But in the second word, лиса, лиса, you can see that ye is not stressed. That is why it's pronounced as e. Лиса, лиса, лиса. Next pair of words. Лето and летать. Лето, летать. Лето, лето. we have a stress on the vowel Y. So that is why it should be pronounced as with a softened L. Лето, лето. But the second word, летать, летать, we don't say летать, we say летать, летать, with a vowel with a sound E. Летать, летать, because E is not stressed. But in these examples, евро and Европа, евро, Европа, you can see that they are pronounced a bit different. Евро, евро. Here you have the sound Y that comes in the beginning, because this letter Y stands in the beginning of a word. That is why we should pronounce it with a combination of sounds Y and E. Евро, евро. And the second word, Европа, Европа. Here we don't have a stress on a vowel Y. That is why it should be pronounced as E, but since it comes in the beginning of a word, we need to add this sound Y. Европа, Европа, Европа. Can you hear the difference? Евро, евро, E is stressed, евро and Европа, Европа. We don't really say Европа, Европа. It will sound not really that natural. But if we have an unstressed Y in the end of words, you will notice that we should pronounce it as a very short Y or E with a softened consonant. Like in в Америке, в Америке, в Америке. So here we have two vowels Y. The first one is stressed, so it should be pronounced as it is, в Америке, в Америке. But the second one, the one that comes in the end of the word, is not stressed. We still pronounce it as a combination of two sounds, as if it's something between E and E. В Америке, в Америке, в Америке. But yeah, you can stick actually to a sound E with a softened consonant K. K, K. В Америке, в Америке, в Америке. And it will be fine. It will be completely fine if you say it this way. The next important thing that you need to understand if you want to sound more natural in Russian language is that you should stop relying on Latin transcription of Russian words, because it's not a transcription, it's not the correct pronunciation, it is just the transliteration. The transliteration is just a way to show you how to pronounce each letter separately in a Russian word, but not how to pronounce a word as a whole. Latin letters cannot show you how to pronounce Russian words, period. It only makes it worse. Yes, there is an international phonetic alphabet that I don't really like because I think that it will take you much more time to actually learn every symbol, each symbol in this alphabet, and it is much easier to actually learn Russian alphabet, learn how to pronounce every Russian letter correctly, properly, and then to use transcription in Cyrillic letters. Let's admit, when you start learning Russian language, the first thing you do is you learn Russian alphabet. So normally you should know how to pronounce every Russian letter correctly, properly. That is why you can use this transcription in Cyrillic. You will be surprised, but Russian people also use transcription when they are at school. When I was at school, when I was a kid, I had to use this phonetic transcription in Cyrillic in order to learn how to pronounce certain Russian words, because as you understood, some Russian words are not pronounced the same way as they are written, depending on the patterns that we have in these words. So we need to learn not only Russian letters, but also Russian sounds. And believe me, it's actually even fun to do when you try to decipher a Russian word even before hearing how to pronounce it. You can understand how to pronounce it correctly just by having the stress. When you know the stress, when you know the stress in a Russian word, you can learn, you can decipher, you can understand how to pronounce it even before hearing. And here comes one of the main reasons why Latin transcription for Russian words sucks. There are some tricky Russian vowels that make foreigners who learn Russian language sound funny. Really, I have already seen some advanced Russian language learners who still make this mistake, and it's actually quite easy to explain. These Russian vowels, ye, yo, yu, ya, are very tricky because they are letters and not sounds, which is really important to understand. So when they are pronounced separately, we should make two sounds. So actually they represent two sounds when they are pronounced separately. That is why, for example, when you learn Russian alphabet, you learn it this way. So, ye is a combination of two sounds, y and e. Ye, ye. So you have this clear sound y, ye. Yo is a combination of y and o. Yo, yo, y, o, yo. Next, you. U is a combination of two sounds, y and u. You, you, you. And the last one, ya, is a combination of y and a. Ya, ya, ya. And the problem arises from here, from this point, because many Russian language learners believe that these vowels, ye, yo, you, ya, should be pronounced this way, so with a clear sound y everywhere, in every Russian word where we have these vowels, which is a big mistake, and this is partially a fault of Latin transcription. Just look at this table. As you can see, the pronunciation of these vowels depends entirely on their position in a word. So, after vowels, after a hard and a soft sign, as well as in the beginning of words, these vowels should be pronounced as a combination of two sounds, where the key element is a sound y. But after consonants, these vowels should be pronounced without this sound y. So you don't pronounce this sound y, you just leave these sounds that you can see with a softened consonant. And it's a very common mistake of Russian language learners when, for example, they will pronounce these words, so меня, they will pronounce as mienya. Well, probably not really that terrible as I showed you, so probably they will pronounce it as mienya, mienya, something like this, or люблю, they will pronounce it as люблю, люблю. Or a name Katya, they will pronounce as Katya, Katya, because they think, and actually they will see it in the Russian, in the transcription of Russian words that is written in Latin, that read this sound y where it should and where it shouldn't be. Okay, let's analyze this phrase. Желаю тебе счастья. Желаю тебе счастья. I wish you happiness. We will need to analyze every vowel and every sound that we see. So the first word is желаю. Желаю. As you can see, we need to pronounce a vowel ye as y. And you may tell me, yeah, but you didn't tell it before. Why do we need to pronounce it as y? Well, here it's another rule. Of course, if you pronounce this ye as e, it will be completely fine. But in a fast speech, you will mostly hear people pronouncing y. So, for example, I will say я желаю, я желаю. And you can hear that I don't say я желаю. So it's a very short y. And it's actually very easy to explain why we need to pronounce it as y. So as you can see, this letter ye is unstressed. So that is why we need to pronounce it as e, but it comes after a wonderful Russian consonant zh, which is always hard. And it can also make vowels that comes after sound hard. That is why this E, so the sound E is pronounced as Y. Желаю, желаю. Let's look at the vowel U. So here, as you can see, it comes after a vowel. That is why we need to pronounce it as a combination of two sounds, where the key sound is Y. Желаю, желаю. Тебе, тебе. So the first Y is unstressed. That is why we pronounce it as E with a softened consonant, so тебе, тебе. But the second one is stressed. That is why we need to pronounce it as E with a softened consonant, because it comes after a consonant. So we cannot pronounce it with a combination of two sounds, and especially with the sound Y. Next, счастье, счастье. So here it's another rule of Russian pronunciation that concerns this combination of two letters, S and Ch. S, Ch, when you have this combination, you need to pronounce it as Sh in the majority of cases. Sh. S, Ch is pronounced as Sh. Of course, if you say счастье, people will be able to understand you, but you will sound really unnatural. So we pronounce it as sh. Счастье. And here you can see we have a vowel ya that comes after a soft sign. That is why we need to pronounce this vowel as a combination of two sounds, y and a. Счастье, счастье. Желаю тебе счастья. So I wish you all happiness, and I will see you next time in the next video. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like it. See you next time. Пока-пока.